I feel good. Had a hard workout day after the Phoenix game. Felt great there. And then obviously we had practice yesterday. So, feel ready to go and, excited to play 25 minutes and excited for my sports to be a little bit longer, so that should be fun. Forgive me if this is a stupid question, but between the weeks off and the back, what is the specific reason for the minutes restriction for your body? Like, what is it helping you with? I guess it's probably a medical question more than anything, but, I'm assuming like, my load and the workouts that I had prior leading up to my return, like, you want to do maybe a little bit more than what I had done in a workout prior. And then obviously our practices aren't, as hard as, a game at this point in the season with how much we're playing. So, I think just, easing back into it and making sure we're doing it the correct way. So I think that, and then, hopefully everything goes great tonight, and then when we get back and I play on Wednesday, hopefully it's basically done with kind of our plan. So just kind of ease back into it, and even tonight, like there's been games where I've played 25 minutes, and that hasn't been because of a restriction or anything, that's just how the game goes. So 25 is still a good amount of minutes, and maybe I want to be closer to like a 32 or 33, but it's still a lot of minutes to play, and I feel good about it. Yeah. You talked about the longer spurs. Yeah. How have you and Steph talked, or you and the staff talked about how long they will be and how much of that is a collaborative effort? Yeah, I think when it's your first game back, it's probably a little bit different than having some success, and then me kind of telling them how I'm feeling, and I think tonight I'll probably be in for the first 5.5, maybe 6, and then we'll go from there and see how I'm feeling. But I expect it to be great. Like I expect those first 5 minutes for me to feel well and be playing with great pace and whatever it is and kind of feel it out there, and there's been games where I've subbed out after the first 6 minutes too without a restriction. So, and other times I've played the first 9, hopefully play in 5-minute spurts. Maybe closer to 6 at other points, but, you also kind of have to see how the game's going too and, whether we're winning. Do we need to save minutes for the fourth, whatever it is. But those aren't decisions I'm making in game, that's the coaches. And then, but yeah, I would expect it to be basically double, if not a little bit more than what I did last time. Hi. Hey, Caitlin. How are you? Little off subject here. I was, at the UFC last night, was sitting right in front of me before she went up there. And to see it on video clips is one thing, but to be there, the crowd really ate it up where she was. A UFC crowd, and just knowing Sophie cutting the WNBA that, and you've established obviously a good friendship with her. Can you just talk about number one, how they accepted it and cheer for, and then just I guess how cool that is and for so itself? Yeah, it's obviously really cool. I honestly wasn't watching the fights. I was trying to follow the best I could on my phone. I don't even know if I have Paramount Plus. I probably don't subscribe to that. So I don't know if I wasn't going to pay for another subscription. And Sophie also didn't tell me she was doing that. I knew she was going to the fight, but I didn't know she was doing that. I don't know if she even knew she was doing that when she walked in the door. But, it was still fun to see. Obviously, it's cool that, people love it and shows like people are really paying attention to the WNBA and the players we have and the personalities we have across this league. So, it's certainly fun. I don't know. Maybe we'll see her do more of it. Who knows? Maybe she'll be a UFC fighter at one point. I don't know. That's up to Sophie. Sorry. I guess back to the game tonight. Having the guard-like center relationship that you do with Aaliyah Boston, what do you see being key for her tonight, against the Aces? Yeah, I think obviously we played him 3 or 4 times last year and then another 5 times in the playoffs. So that's about 8 or 9 games, and I feel like every time she matched up really well. She played really well. Played some of her best games versus the Aces last year. So, I think you just build off of that confidence that you have, and you're going up against one of the best players in the world, the best center, one of the best players to ever play in this league. So, obviously she understands she has her hands full, but you were out there with 4 other people. It's not just Aaliyah's job to guard Asia. So, we're going to do everything we can to help her, but I think more than anything, like you just lean into the confidence of the way you played last year and how you were able to defend and what you've seen on film. Like, obviously, this team is very, very different with her on the court than when we played them a week ago. When she didn't play, like she's dominant. She can dominate no matter what. No matter how you guard her, she's going to find a way to score. She's going to rebound. She's going to get to her spots. It's just we got to be able to push her out a little bit. Limit her a little bit, and then get her on her right hand best we can. Thanks. And then just a more general question. When you think about centers in the WNBA, like what names come to mind? Like obviously, I know you're a guard, maybe that's not something you think about a ton, but just curious, like as a fan of the game and over, man, I feel like there's been so many great centers across this league, and it would be impossible to sit up here and just name a few, but I mean, I obviously right now, like I think AB and Aaliyah are one of the more fun matchups we have in this league, like people that can really dominate, and I think the great thing about both of them is they've both have expanded their game so much, like they can both step out and shoot threes, they're both good passers. They're both good facilitators. They set their teammates up for success. They rebound the ball on both ends. So I think that's the fun part about this matchup, and I'm sure they would both say like they probably grew up watching the great centers in this league, and that's what they've taken a lot of bits and pieces to implement in their game. But, you know, I think the game of basketball has just evolved so much, and you've seen them do that in their own game as well. And, you know, I think the way they've both evolved throughout their career, and I think for me just the way they both shoot it, like it makes it really difficult. That adds a whole another element to the scouting report that both sides have to prepare for. Hi, Caitlin. More of a process question for you. Rookie year when you're running pick and roll, got more blitz, saw more blizzes than anyone in the league. Yeah. Second year in the league, higher volume switches against you. This year, blitzes are down, switches are down. We're seeing a little bit more kind of cat and mouse with the bigs in general. Just how have you kind of diagnosed the way teams have been guarding you over the last 3 years? Like what has that process been like for you? Yeah, I mean I think like you never know what a team's going to do. I think I definitely haven't seen as many blitzes as I have my rookie year. But also like by that second half of my rookie year, we were destroying the blitz like with how good AB was getting to a short roll, and then you're playing an advantage basketball basically 4-on-3 the second I get out of IT, so I haven't seen as much as that of that. I expect them to do a lot of switching tonight. That's what I saw a lot of last year. And obviously they're really athletic, and sometimes they'll also play 4 guards, and then Asia can guard all 5 spots. And then obviously, like you said, I've seen a lot of people just at the point kind of mixing it up, that you know, trying to get their guard back to the matchup. So, you know, I try to feel it out early in the game. You know, usually we're in a ball screen somehow in the first 1 or 2 possessions of the game, and you can see what they do. But every team's going to mix it up from quarter to quarter. So you kind of got to be on your toes and understand how to read and manipulate the best you can.